Hi and welcome to the Market Alert for Monday the 26th of April 2021. So on Friday, stocks and bonds shrugged off Biden's capital gains tax increase, and the dollar and the cryptos were sent south. And this is an interesting subhead here because it's absolutely spot on. Stocks whipsawed all week and to end marginally changed as Bitcoin and the dollar were battered. I'll have a look at that in just a moment. Meanwhile, the implied volatility reflecting this with a drop from 1527 down to 1392. The swings in the implied volatility have been quite interesting this week. But the 13 level is very important. You can see we've got the low of 1302. Long way from this, nearly a full percent on Friday, but the market looking poised to move to the upside once more, which we'll look at in just a moment. Meanwhile, in the yields, and we're just going to have a look at a 5-day just to bring us up to speed, and we can see that from Wednesday of last week, the yields have become sideways, so nothing to report here at this time. News for today, we've got the German info climate. A lot of news out this week. The most important news item of the week is the FOMC press conference. This is on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. and we'll look at the rest as we go through the week. So let's have a look at the Dow, and again you can see that whipsaw for the week, very sideways range, one day down, one day up, etc. And you can see there on Friday bringing the market to the upside. We need to take out these three areas here. We've got the 78 fib, the 89 and the all-time high, which is at 34,253 on this particular platform. This needs to be driven through in order to maintain these ridiculous multi-year all-time highs for the stock markets. And in the German DAX, we've got a similar situation where prices are sideways, not so obvious, and also we've got this sort of triangular shape here, an ascending triangle. The market would need to break above this, and also if you were to draw this further up again, you can see we've got that same triangular shape as well that takes you through the all-time high that was put in a week ago on Friday at 15,513 there. So the DAX looking very interesting, holding above the 20-bar moving average as well. On Friday, trading down to the 62% retracement there, holding well, which you'll see as we look at Friday's session in more detail. So trading back to 62% area there. In the 2-minute chart, getting ready for the futures to open. And if we just compress the chart, have a look where we are overnight. So you can see that we open more or less where we closed, slightly higher. The market sitting on the close there, a bit of a increase in volume overnight, which we can see there, but then coming back and having a look at the BRN and DP, but in a sideways range, managing to get back above the 200 MA, which is very important as well. Not far off the high or the DP, sort of trading middle-ish to this, as you can see. So this will be interesting to see if the market can get above the high. If it goes above the high and into this area, this is going to be the 62% retracement area from the daily, which you can see here where it's got 15,346. This is the 350 level at here, just there. So watch this area as the market moves high. Well, that's if it does move higher, of course. It could open up and sail down to the DP level. But at the moment, it's looking positive. It's above the 5-bar moving average as well as the 20-bar in the daily. In the precious metals markets, we'll start off with silver, surprisingly down for Friday. Well, I say surprisingly, I mean, blimey, they're going to do whatever they can do to keep the lid on this market moving to the upside. And amazing, really, given that the US dollar was down on Friday as well, which you can see there. This market should have been a lot higher, but it wasn't. And it looks like it's being battered overnight as well at the moment. So a close below the 38% retracement, we'll see this move to the downside. There we go. You can see they're just starting now to try and send the market to the downside. So one small move to the upside in the dollar coming off these lows, then it gives them the reason to then say, no, we're going to try and move this to the downside. Back to below $26. It's so important that we stayed above this 26, which you can see has been overnight, but now we've sold through it. So 25.50 will be the next downside target for this market, which brings you down to around 62 and the 200 MA ballpark area. I wouldn't be surprised if they did this, to be honest. Like I say, the dollar was down. That's the next downside target, and even if it goes down to this area, it makes you wonder whether the metals will be allowed to move, because even gold on Friday shows a down day as well when it should have been moving to the upside. It's attempted to do so overnight, but so far failed to do so. So during Friday's session, the market started off quite volatile in the futures, trading down to Thursday's close to find a bit of support here. And then as we get closer to the cash market opening, you'll see prices starting to move to the upside, and a quick test back to the downside there. And coming off those lows there, you can see a lot of volume there just before we kicked off, and bringing the market back above the DP. Now the problem is we had all of the flash news for Friday morning, and if we just go back to here and to here, you will see that it was all positive, except for the odd one we've got here and this one for the US in the afternoon, which they made use of by taking out a few stops, which we'll see in just a moment. But on the whole, the flash news was positive for Friday. So I'm just going to speed through this. You can see the market stuck in a 50-point range. We had a bit of a signal there, decided to get out as the market was moving back towards the upside, and then we've got the news coming out. Again, the market moving up just a bit closer to it, but then you can see coming back to the DP, through the DP, waiting for the last flash news, and then the market just basically trading sideways and drifting. Now you can see there we ended at the DP for the morning session, and mid-morning, just after midday, you can see that prices are actually trading at the DP level and then moving back to the downside there to the low, and then continued to trade through this to you'll see the BRN there, and then prices finding support. So all of a sudden, whatever happened, they changed their mind, brought the market back, and you'll see some selling there, and then we kicked off. It was volatile in a sideways move there, took a moment or two, and then prices moving to the upside, and then we see this spike to the downside, and that was because we had the 60.6 there for the US flash coming out. Don't know why. It actually is higher than, it's lower than the forecast there, but higher than the previous. But for whatever reason, they decided to use this, take out some stops. But once it turned around, it continued to move to the upside. Now, if you watch the 5-bar moving average, you'll see we've got turned to the downside, turn back up, turn to the downside, turn back up. So you're seeing this close below, close above. And this was a pattern that was set during Friday's trading session there. And again, you can see closing below, closing back up in these 2 bars here. And then when we get the next stop at the 200 MA, we come back through for 2 bars. Then you can see the market going back and then moving back up towards the 200 MA, and then just back up to Lagarde was speaking then. We can see the market sitting on the BRN there and sideways for the remainder of the session. So she didn't have a lot to say during Friday, did she there? Okay, so let's just have a quick recap, see where the market is at the moment. Find the right chart. This will be this one. Trying to bring the market back there as the futures market is about... it's just opened, so we've got the futures open now. as we can see there a bit more volatility. A bit later than normal this morning. This is the third time I've recorded this, owing to microphone issues. Okay, that's it for this one. If there is anything else happening or I should let you know about, then I will do so. But as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.